What's up, guys? It's Lord Botha here with another video, and Agatha All Along, Disney Plus's highly anticipated show about a gaggle of witches walking down the witches' road. Everybody's certainly excited for this series, I'm sure, and viewership has been on a steady incline, right? It's got massively popular ratings on Rotten Tomatoes and all that, right? So there must be a lot of people tuning in to see it. Well, not necessarily. Agatha All Along opens with 9.3 million views. Is that good? Well, I'm sure our good friend Paul Tassi here, who has me blocked on Twitter and is definitely not a shill, will not try to spin this article at all to make it sound like it is. Let's take a deeper dive. Agatha All Along drew 9.3 million views in its first week on Disney Plus, according to the company itself, rather than a third-party estimate, which we usually see for many streaming shows. But is that a lot? In context, yeah, that's pretty good. What context? Because I'm feeling that context is not going to be good. First of all, the fact that Disney releasing official numbers at all means they think it's something significant enough to mention, as that has not been the case with other shows in the past. They have been releasing more numbers lately, however. Yeah, that's because when the numbers come out from a third party, they're bad, and it's just the numbers. When they release the numbers out themselves, they can try to find a way to spin the numbers, or get people like you, Paul, to spin the numbers for them. If we're doing a comparison to other Disney shows from official date, we have Percy Jackson and the Olympians at 13.3 million views in 6 days. The Acolyte at 11.1 million views in the first 5 days. Ahsoka at 14 million views in the first 5 days. Now hold on a second. Let's break that down there. Percy Jackson and the Olympians, 13.3 million views in 6 days. It took Agatha All Along to get to 9.3 million views in 7 days. So 4 million views in one less day, and you have to ask yourself, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, do you think that Percy Jackson is a bigger IP with more draw to it than the Marvel brand, than the MCU brand? That's not how it should be. Percy Jackson was a young adult to kids novel that's been adapted multiple times now and was never a huge player in that space. It had its strong fan following, no lie, but was never at the huge popularity of something like a Harry Potter. So is that good as a comparison? I don't think so. The Acolyte, 11.1 million views in 5 days, so still well over a million views more in one less day. And by the way, The Acolyte was considered a viewership disaster. It was canceled because it didn't get enough people to watch the show. Ahsoka, 14 million views in 5 days. Ahsoka is considered to be one of the least viewed shows over the entire span of the show in all of Disney's Star Wars TV show repertoire. I think the only thing that has lower viewership than it is Andor. And they are also struggling to justify a second season of that show. Quite honestly, I think they're just doing a second season of that show because it's either A, a lead-in to a movie, or B, it's Dave Filoni's baby, or C, both of those things. So these three comparisons in here are far from that pretty good statement that Paul Tassi lays up here. And even here, this comes to us from CBR. While this is a good start for Agatha All Along, its 9.3 million views after 1 week is still less than the 10.9 million views the season 2 premiere of Loki received after just 3 days on Disney+. So with 4 days less, Loki, probably the most popular show of the Marvel shows, still did higher numbers than Agatha All Along. And it was the second season considered to be far less good than the first season. This comes to us, by the way, in an article entitled Agatha All Along's reported budget breaks an MCU record. What record are they breaking? According to The Hollywood Reporter, Agatha is the studio's least expensive live-action series to date, significantly so. So they didn't dole out any money for this show whatsoever. For Agatha All Along, the use of significantly so strongly implies that the Disney Plus series cost a lot less than the $40 million Marvel spent on Echo. Even if Agatha cost around $40 million, it would still be significantly cheaper than the Marvel Studios' earliest Disney Plus offerings, which had budgets similar to its blockbuster movies. She-Hulk Attorney at Law cost $212 million, for instance. I'm still, flummoxed by that number. Where did all that money go? So I guess you could say, in terms of the money that Marvel is losing on this project, it's significantly less than other shows that they put out. So I guess that's a dub for them, right? That's a win. They're starting to learn from their mistakes. They're starting to be like, hey, if we're going to put out this girl boss piece of shit, we at least got to do it for a lot cheaper. Give them bare bones budget to do all this. So maybe the budget there is what Paul Tassi should have focused on in terms of, are those numbers good, the initial viewership numbers for Agatha All Along? Because quite honestly, when compared to other things that Disney has put out on Disney Plus, they're just quite factually not good. They're worse than some of their worst projects. And at the end of the day, this show is going to be produced, put out, and forgotten as soon as it's gone. And then Agatha is probably going to pop up in some Marvel movie for 10 minutes or whatever. And then everybody's going to be like, hey, it's that lady. Wasn't she in WandaVision? How did she get here? And they'll say that because none of them have watched Agatha, or they know how she got there, or at least was able to get there. But those are just my thoughts on the subject. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you like this video, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, I appreciate you watching all of it, and we'll talk to you again later.